Hey everybody, this is Elle Nagy from the Direction You Empowerment Dynasty, and you're listening to the Unapologetic Women podcast, the show for female entrepreneurs who love to live their legacies unleashed, unlimited, and unafraid. If this is a community you would like to be a part of, visit directionu.co/unapologetic. Today, we're talking about the secret to true happiness with Linda Barutha. Online business professionals seek out Linda when they want to throw gasoline on the amazing fire their business has happening. Using her SEO-first approach to marketing, Linda specializes in using Pinterest to make your content evergreen and increase your website traffic on a daily basis. Equipped with 25 plus years in corporate IT, as well as 20 plus years as an entrepreneur, Linda is a wealth of knowledge and is passionate about mentoring the solo entrepreneur. We'll discuss some deeply provocative topics, including aging, the price of being a good girl, the chameleon phenomenon, and so much more. Please note, today's content includes sensitive topics. Thanks for joining us. Hello, Linda. When I first met you, I was a little like, holy shit. You had such presence and such calm power, and that really drew me to you instantly. Because you were just showing up as Linda, right? You were just showing up as yourself. And I remember our first conversation even was just like so easy. It was like, really, I don't know this woman. It feels like I've known her forever. And I realized immediately it's because you've done a lot of work, that you've lived a lot of life and you've made peace with it and taken out all the shame and all the victimhood and all of that. And we got together and just speak as equals, just speak as two powerful women with fuck all to prove, nobody to impress, and we could just be ourselves. And I know it takes a lot of life for us to get to this position. If you think back in your life, would you mind sharing a couple of maybe instrumental moments that you got to choose? Do I continue playing their game, or do I actually take a stand for myself?
There's been probably so many instances like that. I've had to, I am 61 years old now, which I can't believe. But it's just a number, and I would not give away not 1 year because of all the knowledge that you learn, all the experiences. They make you stronger. But also you don't, like you said, you don't sweat the small stuff. You just, and I have found that the real secret to true happiness is to just truly be yourself and not worry about how that's going to be perceived, and I am a very, I've been burned many times, because I am sometimes naive. you know, uh, I can tell many stories of being naive, but I am who I am. I show up and I take everybody at the same face value. And so, yes, I do at times get burned because of that, because I realized too late that somebody had an ulterior motive, you know, things like that. It's really hard for me to pinpoint.
Can I challenge a little bit narrative before we
Yeah.
go on? Because as you know, I'm turning 50 this month. And when I hear people say it's just a number, I'm like, why are we downplaying the absolute blessing of the number? Like, fuck, it's just like, I am proud of the fact that I am turning 50 this month. So immensely proud of the woman I am today. And it took me 50 years to become this woman. And
Yeah.
it's almost as though we are shaming the fact that we've been
Mhm.
graced with life longer than a lot of people. Like, there is no glory in youth. I'm sorry to burst people's
That's true.
bubble. There's
That's
no
true.
glory in youth. There's no, I don't want to be younger than what I am. I find I get better and better the older I get. And I don't ever want to become, I think where people get mistaken is they think we give up on life as we go older. And we don't.
Yeah.
Well, some people do, but those are the people who choose not to live fully anyway. I come from the point of I'm fucking 50 this month and I'm rocking it. I'm rocking it more
Yeah.
than I would ever rocked it before in my life. Let's change that narrative, especially for women to stop saying, oh, it's just a number. No, bitch, it's another ring in the tree of wisdom, as the
It's
tree
true.
grows and they get more and
Yes.
more rings.
Well, and the thing is, I guess one my thought when I say that is just like that's just I agree with you that we should celebrate it, right? Because I am my best self, right? Every year keeps getting better and better and better. Um, and it seems to kind of g- get even more exciting, right? Like I remember when you're a kid and you'd get excited all the time for your birthday, but it's a lot more exciting now as you are older, as an adult, and especially when you look at the things that you're accomplishing, right? You're like, oh my gosh. And I think it's I for one have become more brave,
Mm.
right? uh I have been okay with showing up just as myself and take it or leave it, right?
Is it brave? Or have we just realized that no matter how much we kiss ass and no matter how much we change ourselves for people, we actually can't lose? And so, is it brave, or do we just get to a point of understanding it's all a waste of time? So, you're
Yes.
going to love me or you're going to hate me. Take it or leave it. I'm okay regardless. And I would rather look at myself in the mirror and go, oh, chica, I like you. I respect you. I love you. I appreciate you. Then and I did it. Oh my God, I self abandoned so much. I remember stepping into a elevator, and as the doors closed and I saw myself, I was horrified. I was like, who is that woman? Because she
Mm,
looks terrible. I was so self neglected, so self abandoned. And that was a huge wake up call for me because I had done it for the approval of a man who didn't approve of himself. And so,
yeah, it gets really complicated. I think that the men in our lives play such a huge role, and that started for me for the first time when I was only 19, and I was with somebody that totally belittled me and everything. And I found myself twisting and turning who I was to the point where I was unrecognizable to myself, right? To accommodate this individual. And then to the point that then when I broke off, of course he broke it off, which of course is a blessing in hindsight. But the point was, I was left in so many pieces. And then to top it off, I didn't know how to deal with the emotion anger,
mhm.
right? I wouldn't allow myself to feel anger. I would shove it all down. And I finally got to one day that I literally could not stop crying for nothing. It just I was just uncontrolled. I couldn't say words. I couldn't nothing. I just couldn't stop. And that's when my parents stepped in and they called and found me a therapist. And, I didn't have to go to therapy very long, but it was right away. I was totally lost. And she was like trying to get me to the point of it's okay to feel angry. You know what I mean? Like I should have been angry. The thing is we internalize, we take responsibility for what other people do to us. And um that's the other thing. I always have been one of those that I don't ever want to be the victim, right? So I therefore handle it. And I think a lot of that started, well, first of all, because sibling wise, I'm the oldest.
Mhm.
My father is bipolar, and he was institutionalized for a while I was probably around 10 years old or whatever. And I took responsibility of, nope, I have to show him that everything's going to be fine. I have to make sure and help out. I decided that I have to be a good girl at all costs. And all costs meant don't even be yourself, right? And so that's where that all started. And I never, no, was not a victim.
Yeah. And I had to learn, like you, I have a beautiful background with some beautiful men who taught me many, many things. um,
Yeah.
in consistent, increasingly more painful ways,
Yeah.
so that I could choose me at the ripe old age of 47. Like most people don't understand this. It took
Yeah.
me 47 years to choose me. And I am deeply grateful to every single man that has been instrumental in me finally choosing me.
Right.
But what I had to realize is, even though I'm not a victim, I've been emotionally abused, physically abused, raped, abandoned,
Yeah.
neglected, all of those things. Even though I never chose to be a victim, I had to take responsibility for the fact that, but I was allowing it and I was available for it. And
Yeah.
that was a really hard pill to swallow for me, to kind of go,
Yeah.
but I had the kids to take into consideration and I didn't have the money and this and that. And well, I didn't have the money when I finally left either. I just finally loved myself enough to leave and
Exactly.
understand that the money would never really make a difference, even though we say we can't afford, to leave or
Mhm.
whatever the case might be. But I had to start understanding on some level I was available
Choosing.
for it.
Choosing. It's choices. It's the choices that
Because it becomes part of your identity of how you
yeah.
think of yourself, and even saying I'm not a victim. I listen to a lot of women. I'm an overcomer. I am a warrior. I am
Mhm.
I'll always win this. It's still, you're still pushing against something. It's still not a
Yeah.
I am a creator. I am an
Right.
artist. I am a chooser.
Yeah. I don't see myself as a warrior or an overcomer or any of I am I live each day to continue to be true to who I am. And that's it. That's all I focus on now.
And discovering, would you agree, we're still discovering who we are?
Oh,
It's, I hear
yeah.
people go, oh, just be you, and I'm like, but people have no idea who they are, because it's a little bit of discovery every single day, in terms of, oh, well, now that I allow myself to experience this, I'm like, no, I don't like that, that's not part of who I choose to be. Then who am I? It's that.
Because we were raised to be chameleons.
Yes.
We really were. We were really, boy, we are masters of that chameleon thing. Like we can just adapt and adapt real quickly to what's acceptable, whatever room we walk into, whatever role we are supposed to play.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. And that is the biggest difference between men and women. Men have never been taught to be chameleons. We
No, I'm going to challenge that.
Really?
Yeah,
You think
absolutely.
so?
I've been working with men for 30 years now. And
And you've seen, because I don't see
absolutely,
that.
they go through exactly the same as what we do. They are raised to take on certain roles as well. And in
Mm,
order for them to be accepted in certain circles, they have to show up in certain ways. So,
that's
yeah,
a good point. You're right. I do stand corrected, because now that I think about my brother as an example, and even watching how he struggled with that as a child, you are right. You're right. The whole chameleon thing. So why? Is it society?
it
What is it?
is. So I've identified it as the prostitute archetype. And it is in
Mm.
order for us to belong to the tribe, we have to be liked. Oh my God, let's go there. The whole marketing world, which I'm continuously and consistently taking on, you have to be known, liked, and trusted
Yeah.
in order for people to work with you. Okay, so what does that really mean? It means I have to be a hoe because I have to be likable to all of the people I don't even personally know and who don't really know me. I have to show up in a way that they will trust me, even though they don't trust themselves.
Yeah.
So, how, like, all of that is part of the prostitution that
Yeah.
marketing has
Yeah.
created in business.
Yeah.
And that is how we are raised, even in our family tribes. If you don't behave in a certain way, and your roles have to change because everybody in the tribe has different rules of how you have to behave in order for
Yeah.
you not to get into trouble, and in order for you to get the Christmas present or, not get that wooden spoon on your ass or whatever the case might be. So, from an early age, we have to prostitute ourselves.
Hmm.
You can call me whatever you want, baby. I'll suck whatever you want, baby, as long as you like me and take care of me and give me money.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is that's part of the global culture that we are finding ourselves in, as part of the fear consciousness. And it's also the first column of the creative process. So once you are willing to prostitute yourself, everything that follows, you are creating from that energy. And that
Right.
is why most women are hating business, and men, because they're literally prostituting themselves for the sake of their business and the
Yeah.
sake of their marriage and the sake of their children and the sake of grandma and grandpa and the sake of the sisterhood, the sake of the brotherhood, whatever it is. Takes a
Yeah.
really strong person. And it's interesting. It's mostly those of us who were black sheep in the family and who continuously got into shit and continuously were abandoned or expelled from every single place that we thought we wanted to belong at one stage, who seem
Right.
to be waking up first. It's like, I've got no place left to belong. So let me go and find me. Let me belong
Hmm.
to me and
Hmm.
then see what happens in life.
Yeah. And you know what I find really interesting is that I the people in my atmosphere, my orbit, if you will,
Mhm.
the ones that seem to be recognizing that they need to turn internal, right? To really live a happy life. Um, that seems to be the entrepreneurs. That seems to be like, I can't have those conversations outside of just talking to my entrepreneurs. Like when I talk to people in a traditional corporate setting or whatever, they don't seem to be at that level of consciousness at all. It's like of, and I'm not saying, I'm not making a blanket. I'm just saying, my in-law, not my in-laws, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they came to visit us, and we haven't seen them in years, and we just went to lunch, and we were all talking, and I mistakenly started talking about something in regards to the entrepreneur business, right? And the glazed look on their faces was like they had no clue. And I just had to allow them to quickly change the subject and thought to myself, oh, I can't, you're not my people.
Well, and
Right?
I'm finding that more and more in the entrepreneurial space as well, because there's very few true entrepreneurs in the entrepreneurial world. I'm finding a lot of people are just either self-employed or not wanting to be in corporate anymore, but they're still very risk averse. They're still not wanting to create something new and original. They're still
Oh,
not
yeah.
willing to dedicate themselves to their art. It's still a job for them, but they're
Yeah.
just self-employed rather than being an
Right.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. There is a difference.
There's a huge difference. So before we go down the entrepreneurial
Yeah.
path, because that's where we want to get to with regards to what you are doing in the world, I do want us to actually round back to before I press the record button, and you mentioned a Netflix movie that you watched. Can we go
Yeah.
down there?
Yeah. It was quite interesting. I actually was happy to see it in film. It is called Luckiest Girl Ever
Yeah.
with Mila Kunis. And it basically, she is depicting this woman who, because nowadays we always do the flashbacks so that you get the full story. And so it was flashing back. What had happened is she was raped by numerous boys in high school. And she kept quiet about it because, for many reasons, including her mother, right? Um, and just always was that chameleon doing what was expected of her. But deep down, she kept trying to be true to who she was. And what ended up happening was when she finally did come out with it, as an adult of what had truly happened. Um, it was just, what I was telling you is that I really felt like at least 50% of women could can relate to that story because I mean, I was raped. I mean, that's how I lost my virginity. I denied it to myself. I buried it. So you have no idea how I manipulated that story in my head
Yes.
for the longest time, only for me,
Mhm.
because I didn't want to have to deal, because it was so ingrained in me that you have to be this good girl. You have to save yourself for marriage. Heaven forbid that you enjoy your body, and sex is a bad word, just all of it, all of that garbage that is put on us,
Mhm.
you know that just the pressure was overwhelming, because then that's what you really saw in this movie.
Mhm.
When it did come out and her mother saying, oh my God, what are people gonna think? Boy, can I hear my mother in that, right? Like those type of things. It's like, but just watching that play out in the movie, it was like, oh my God. I thought, what a best kept secret. It's about time it's not a secret, right? But what people don't realize is how this is what women go through, that feeling of that you have to hide. It's not important that you were hurt and damaged and violated. What is important is how you just keep everything as is. Don't rock the boat, right? And that has done so much harm to people for so many years that they have to spend years uncovering, undoing, working through, right? Sick of that crap.
And
I,
I think it's way more than 50%, Linda. I think it's
oh
way
yeah.
more than 50%. I was sexually molested as a child and then I was raped as a student. And again, also didn't talk about it, and didn't, do
Right.
anything about it, because it was like, well, who are you going to tell? Are they going to believe you? Should I have done more? Could I have
Hmm.
prevented this? Was this my fault?
Yeah.
Am I too
All
flirtatious?
of it.
Do I need to cover this down? All of those things. And when I talk about it now, it's not to, I always say to people, the names of the people are irrelevant in my story,
Yep.
because I had healed that. And for me, even that I'm grateful for, because I got to choose to be the woman that I am today, and understand it's just something that happened. It doesn't have to define me in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But it is highlighting for us, there's for me something more important than, the masculine is playing its role in the feminine's evolution right now, although majority of the feminine are not recognizing it. And it is a case of the feminine had self-abandoned so much that we are being progressively given the opportunity more and more to choose self, instead
Hmm.
of having to believe that we need a man to complete us, and all of these things. But there's a deeper issue for me, and that is the distrust between women. There
Yeah.
is the feeling of we do not feel safe as women with women. Because when we start having a look at history, women have betrayed women
Oh
for
yeah.
thousands of years. And I believe that's one of the things that we are being called to heal at the moment. And it's interesting, I'm going to send you the document that I wrote last week, because even how I wrote it was extraordinary, but it's about why I'm creating the Unapologetic Women's Space, which is not about networking at all. It is actually about women healing the deep distrust that we have between each other, and how that's playing out in business right now.
Hmm.
And when you have a look at how many women have been sexually abused, molested, raped, physically, mentally, emotionally, how many of them actually turned to their mothers because they felt safe enough? And a lot of the times it's also because I wanted to protect my mom. I looked at my mom and I thought, you were going through so much. I do not want to burden you with what I'm going through. Again, not trusting her to be strong enough, right? So it's
Right.
still coming
Right.
from distrust. But I'm feeling like that is something that is critical for us at this time. And in order for women to start trusting women again, the deep shit dark work needs to get done to heal self. Because in the beginning of our conversation you said that you are still very, what's the word that you used, not ignorant, that you trust people too
Oh, naive.
naive, right? So we've stopped trusting ourselves, and we call ourselves naive because we choose to believe the best in people until proven otherwise.
Hmm.
Why would we want to lose that though? I keep on coming back to the fact that I trust myself enough now. I know I will, I will continue on regardless.
Right.
That I choose to see the best in people. And if you want to be a dick and prove me wrong, that's on you, it's not on me. But I will not actually walk around in life and go, what if, and I'm finding that a lot in business with women. They're like, I really want to trust you, and I'm going to be rah rah sisterhood, and I'm going to give you emotional support, but I'm going to cover my back. There's this huge thing that needs to
Mm.
shift for women in business to actually go, I've got your back, and I 100% trust you to have my back. Let's grow
Wow.
together. Let's build together. That is lacking in women right now in business. And I feel
I
like that is
agree.
a critical part that needs to start. And I want to talk about sisterhood. I talk about womanhood. I think we need to stop the whole sisterhood rah rah. Let's all go howl at the moon. I mean, I howl at the moon, but I howl it on my own. I need other people with me. But that is something that needs to start healing. And I feel that
Yeah,
more
I
and more
agree.
are craving that. And I feel that's the women I'm attracting at the moment, even though they're not 100% there yet. It's like there has to be more to this. There has to be a deeper connection between women than what I've allowed myself to have. Because let's face it, a lot of us have been burned by other women.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so that's how we become these lone wolves. Okay. Because basically we're really not going to trust anyone. Not really. And yeah, it's 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 really sad when you think about it, but I think it's not going to start changing, like you said, until we start be okay with being showing up as my naive self.
As
And
my
also,
trusting self, as my trusting self, my consciously choosing to trust self, my intentionality to first find the best in people until they show me their worst. Let's
right.
not just take power
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah. And I have, I think every time I do end up going through a situation where I see somebody for how they really were trying to take advantage of me or whatever, I feel okay with quickly recognizing it and walking away and just continuing to be myself.
Yeah.
I don't understand or relate to people that would respond differently and revengefully or things like that. I've never related to that because to me, it's like, why would you want to continue
Mhm.
like engaging at any level if you know that things went wrong? Let just walk away. Just, you know, move on.
Love enough to let go. Because when we
Yes.
want to hold on, that's not love.
Right.
And for me, ultimately, we choose love or we choose not love.
Hmm.
And that's why I say to
Hmm.
people, you can't choose love until you love yourself because love is a frequency, love is a tone that you set within yourself and then
Hmm.
choose to live by. So when you don't love yourself and you go, but I love my kids, but I love so and so, but like, well, no, because you're not on the frequency of love. Love is not a word, and love is
Yeah.
not an emotion. Love is a frequency of creation.
Hmm.
And once you
Hmm.
choose to love, you can't not love. I left my marriage the day I loved, well, first of all, myself, but the day I could say, I love you and really mean it because there was no, if only you would do this or if only you would
Right.
do that, I didn't need him to change anymore. I finally loved him enough to leave.
Hmm.
And that for me was a huge aha moment. That love doesn't mean I need you in my space or I need you to be a certain way. If I love you, I don't need you to change, but I don't need you in my bed either.
Right.
It's not
Right.
tolerance. Love is not tolerant. Love is completely intolerant of abuse and of neglect and of, diminishing self. Love is completely intolerant to that. Until we
Mhm.
understand that we're not on the frequency of love. Okay, so let's close that conversation there and let's get to the business part.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I love about you is you are one of those women who actually take a stand for mastery in craft, which I feel we are losing. We're losing artistry and mastery. People want to do jack of all trades instead of going, I really believe in this. I'm really passionate about this. How do I take this talent and make the most of my talent and then share my talent with those who appreciate it and who use it in order to build their talent. So
Right.
tell me about what it is that you do and who it is that you serve. Let's not say
Yeah.
serve. Oh, I don't like that word because isn't that prostitution and slavery as well? Who do you partner
Yes.
with in greatness? Oh, let's say that. Who do you partner with in greatness?
Oh, I really like that. That's refreshing. Okay. So what I do is I share my talents with others.
Mhm.
Uh, and those are specifically you doing marketing, online marketing using the power of search engines like Pinterest. And so, to me, I'm about working smarter, not harder. What that means to me is taking your beautifully written content that speaks clearly to your ideal client and turning it into evergreen, meaning it lives forever, consistently um, building an audience for you. So you do that on Pinterest, okay, you basically are getting people interested that they click over to your website to learn more about who you are and what it is that you do.
Mhm.
That to me is beautiful lead generation. So that is the primary, I don't want to say service, but the
Offering,
skill that I bring.
yes.
Yes, the partnering that I do with people. And what's beautiful about it is that I do it in a way where everything is done for you. You don't have to be tech savvy, okay? Because I have 25 plus years in IT, along with 20 plus years as an entrepreneur in one form or another. So I have combined all of that. And I like to hone in on what lights me up,
Mhm.
right? And what I feel passionate about. And so I feel passionate about getting people. So instead of me just being some social media manager, no. I don't believe in just using social media only for your lead generation, if you will. I think it's smarter to use a search engine tool. Also, though, along with that, because I am also very passionate about leadership, that's something that is really part of my self discovery in the past year that I have realized. It's just something that's always been very important to me. I have just started a brand new mentorship, one on one mentorship that is called Leader of One. Because I think a lot of these entrepreneurs nowadays in the online space, they're lonely, they're overwhelmed, they don't they're just like running ragged, okay? They don't have they're not able to even make decisions clearly because there are so many decisions to be made. As somebody who has been an entrepreneur for so long, and in my early years, everything was DIY, you know? Um, I have a lot of experience that I love to share because I can help save them time, money, frustration, right? Because I already know what the big picture is supposed to look like. So I can easily go and break things down for them. And I'm calling it a mentorship because um, the word coach is so ridiculously overused nowadays. Um, and I don't think I'm just a coach. I guess I could call myself a consultant, when you look up definitions, but I think mentor is good because I want to be able to empower, okay? Empower them that you can build this business around your life to work for you. And I remember hearing that years ago and not believing it. Those are the years that I was like really hustling, right? Um, but now that is the way I live because now I truly believe in the law of attraction and everything else. And so that has put all that at ease and all of that. That's why I want to empower women that are in business online that, you know, you can relax, you can enjoy, and this is just a process. But let's start with what's that vision you really want, right? And now let's work backwards. How are you going to get there? So,
And also, I feel like so many people are being misled about what entrepreneurship is.
oh
And
yeah,
let's be honest, it's tough as fuck in the beginning. And when I say beginning, years, because it's not about what we do, it's about who we need to become in the process to be a successful entrepreneur. And that is an ongoing journey for decades. And that's why so
yes,
many of us have quite a few failed businesses, or, we've created a successful business and either sold it or broken it all down back to nothing, because for us, it's not about the actual service and it's not about the
yeah,
actual money. It's about, we love being entrepreneurs. We love creating, we love seeing and
yes.
what else and how else and all of those
Mhm.
things. And so many people are being lured into the entrepreneurial world at the moment. And you can live an amazing life working 2 hours a week. Well, once you get your business to a certain stage and you have people like you who are taking over some of the functions so that you literally only
Yeah,
focus on your zone of genius, and you've outsourced or got team members for everything else, by absolute means, then we get to live that. Um,
yeah,
I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years and
yeah.
I still don't have all the pieces in place because I've just burnt my business to the ground again. And I needed to, because I had evolved so much that, and I hadn't involved my business because I was kind of like, no, I'm a coach, 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 I'm a coach. Actually, no, I'm not a coach. I'm a self leadership expert. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. Business is not keeping up with that. Burn it down. And you have to almost be fearless in the burning down of the business in order for you to create what you are really here to create.
Mhm.
And it really helps to have a mentor in that space who can just kind of go on the days where you like, oh my God, brain fatigue. I can't, what is the next thing? And this is
Yeah.
the difference between coaching and mentoring that most people still don't get because they don't understand the art of coaching. Your coach won't tell you what the next thing is.
No.
The coach will
Mm-mm.
create the space for you to discover your next thing. A
Yes.
mentor will say, well, actually, here it is. I've already discovered it. Try this piece on for size. And you go, oh, thank you.
Yes.
That's all. So there's spaces for coaches and there's spaces for mentors and there's spaces for
Yeah.
consultants in your journey, but most people don't know what the fuck the difference is, including most of the
Right.
people who are taking on the titles. And I just look at it and go, shit show, but it's all good and it's all fun. So when you are talking about women entrepreneurs, let's be politically incorrect and go to, well, what kind of women entrepreneurs? Because women entrepreneurs is such a loose term. Like, who are your dream
Mm.
women to partner with?
You know, I was thinking about that earlier today. It's funny you mentioned that. um, because what I was thinking is, I really need women that are open-minded, right? I don't need somebody who has tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
I need somebody who is open to life experiences. I can't, I mean, I've had those clients. I've had clients that are open-minded and just want me to give them answers and direction, and they do wonderfully, right? And then I've had the women that just they buck heads with anything I say. And it's like, no, that's not open-minded, right? Like they're so like in this tunnel, right? Those are the ones I can't work with. I can't work with somebody who's that close-minded. Because I want somebody that's going to value my experience.
Mm-hmm.
I have many many experiences, both having a brick and mortar, you know, physical product sales and creation to now with services, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really I want to work with somebody who and somebody that wants to actually learn how to enjoy their business,
Mm-hmm.
not that it's just a quick paycheck.
Yeah.
So if it's just a quick paycheck for you, I'm just not your mentor then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another element that I'd like to maybe enter in here, and you can agree or disagree, but it's, you know, women that I work with, they have to take the fucking action. Like, don't just
Oh,
ask me and then not be willing to implement repeatedly until you get an outcome from which to then pivot. Like, is that a requirement for you? Like, ladies who
yes.
actually take action and implement and get shit done?
Yes. Well, it was really interesting. So like a year ago, I remember having clients that I discovered because they weren't taking action of what I was, so then nothing could happen, right? You don't give me content, I can't continue to shout your world, the word out there for you. So what I realized is that I was then feeling responsible for their success or failure, right? I am not responsible. I had to come to terms to that. And so I have now a new boundary inside of me that no, I don't I'm not going to disrespect you and take that ownership away from you. You're responsible for your own success or failure. But yes, to answer your question, I would prefer to work with people that actually are going to act upon if they say that they just because you say you want success, well then show up and do it. That's the other thing. Show up.
Yeah.
Show up. None of this, if I've got a standing 1 o'clock every Monday meeting with you, don't be messaging me, oh, can we change it to this time or that? Wait a minute. We said it's going to be every single, right? Like, unless you're ill, or something else catastrophic has happened, don't be don't be changing it on me. Don't that's disrespectful
Yeah.
to
And
me.
respecting self first, right? Because if you're going to build a
Right.
business, respect yourself enough to build the bloody business. And there's
Yeah.
something that you said that I want to actually highlight here because I think that it's something that we say and a lot of people misconstrue it. And that is, I am not responsible for your success and failure. Now, why I'm picking that up specifically is because I am seeing so many people who have oh, let's just say it like it is.
Yeah.
People who can't give a fuck about the art of whatever it is you're doing. And so they come into industry and they just offer services without any experience, without any qualification, without any dedication to their craft, and then going, I am not responsible for your success or
Oh,
failure. Now, here's my thing on that. For 30 years, I practice my art daily. There's not a
yeah.
day that I don't learn more about my art, that I don't practice my art, that I don't use my art on myself, because I believe so much in the power of my work and the impact that it has on other people's lives. That when I
Yeah.
say I'm not responsible for your success, I am absolutely responsible to be the best artist that I am, and then you get to take responsibility for your success by appreciating my gift, by using and implementing what I share with you in order for you to get to the results. But I think there's a huge thing going on in most industries at the moment of I don't take responsibility for your success, but I do the bare minimum in order for me to make money out of you. And that is
Oh,
something that I believe we really need to start taking on. And we really need to start using discernment in somebody who has done something for 30 years compared to somebody
yeah.
who's done something for 3 months.
Right.
and you know, that discernment lies with the clients, and even for us as clients, because we are constantly using people.
Right.
I think mastery, like age, need to be appreciated and revered again, because society is losing that.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I, that's just it though. Like, I think people, especially the newer people that are jumping into the whole arena, are they're like racking their brains, like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? What am I good at? What am I, and it's like, to those people, I'd like to say, we all have unique gifts and talents, but this is not a one and done. Not if you want to be a true entrepreneur, anyways. It is a life journey. It's full of discovery. You're always discovering, and you have to be okay with that, right? And as you perfect, you take the combination of the gifts that you already have, and then you really master those, and you filter in all the other discovery experiences that you have on your journey along the way. You have got a beautifully seasoned package to offer people, right? And it's those people that can appreciate that I would want to be working with. I want them to have a clear understanding. I'm not somebody that just went to a school to learn one particular thing, and now I'm going to either do it for you or teach you how to do it. No, it's much more finesse. And so if you think you're gonna just, I mean, seriously, go work for Amazon then or something, you know.
Right. So where do people get hold of you, Linda?
They can go to my website, which is my name, lindabarutha.com. On there, it will have various ways that they can get in touch with me. That's probably the easiest because it's just my name.
Or on LinkedIn. Linda is on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn?
She's
Yes.
fabulous on LinkedIn. Fabulous
Yes.
on LinkedIn. I love your
Thank
posts,
you.
by the way.
Yes.
Okay. What advice can you share for others aspiring to live a fulfilling life?
Oh, I would say start your day with gratitude every day. I do it every morning myself, and it truly works. It truly works. It sets the tone for your day, no matter what's going to come along. You just don't know, right?
I've refined it from gratitude to appreciation. And the reason I switched to appreciation is gratitude still feels like a little bit of, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like we still had to earn it a little bit.
Oh,
Whereas
yeah.
appreciation is, oh my God, I really appreciate sunshine. I love the way that it feels. So when you go into appreciation, it's you go deeper into it. And what I have discovered is living from appreciation, you tend to show your appreciation through action. So if I am
Mhm.
appreciating sunshine, as I do, I make a point of when the sun is shining to go into the sun and go, wow, universe, you did a sterling job today for me because you've created the sun for me. And I'm
Yeah.
showing my appreciation through that. And that was like a little tweak for me, but that made all
Smart.
the difference. I really stepped up into that.
Hmm.
You know, we could talk all day long. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to get these interviews to 20 minutes. Because we're so interesting, right? As
Yes.
women, and
Yes.
as like we are so interesting, and we have so much wisdom to share with the world. What is the one thing that you take an unapologetic stand for?
Mm, only one thing. That's what part that makes it hard, that question, right?
Right?
For me, it's honesty. I'm just really, really big on that. I'm really, it's just, I don't think there's anything higher on the ladder for me is honesty. And I think it's sad that that even has to, it shouldn't need to be spoken because it should be so automatic.
It's interesting because my blog today is about that and the fact that if,
Oh,
and it starts with honesty with self, right? Because if we do not have honesty with self, and we don't in the beginning because we are conditioned to shame and blame ourselves. And so
right.
honesty feels really bad for people. And so it's easier to just lie to myself and therefore automatically lie to other people. But
Mhm.
without honesty, we have no pride in self. And if we
Yeah,
have no pride in self, there's no power in our word. And without
right.
power in our word, we have nothing because that's how we create.
Yes, yes.
You have a little mini course for people. What is
Mhm.
that about?
Yes, called Pin to Win. It's a Pin to Win mini course, and it really it is it is delivered via audio over the course of 4 days. You get an audio in your email to listen to, and it really just kind of educates you on the power of Pinterest, and really gives you a clearer understanding of how and why it works. And I've had many people that take it and then want to know what the next step is, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
The next step.
yeah, it's just a way for me to really educate people on the pin to win approach.
And I have to say, I never really paid attention to Pinterest until I met you. You know, Pinterest for me was to go and get my hairstyles and my fashion and
Oh yeah.
Cinnabon and recipes and kind of those types of things. And then I met you and I was like, oh, though, like I have been spending years on Facebook and closing that down and then LinkedIn and closing that down. And your content, like you say, has got a 24-hour life on these platforms. Whereas with Pinterest, people are constantly searching stuff and it comes up again and again and again. So I
Yes.
would highly recommend anybody who is an entrepreneur that creates any form of, I don't know, content, um,
Yeah,
to go and sign up for
exactly.
the mini course and to actually get in touch with you because it's a game changer. And if I look back at the last 7 years of my journey online, oh my God, the stuff I could have pinned. Yes,
Right?
but it's learning, you know, and so we
Yeah.
don't take away from the journey and we say,
Mm-mm.
thank you, universe, for actually connecting me with people. And that's probably the final message that I want to leave everybody with. If you're listening to this, you're listening to this for a reason. Like, there's no
Yeah.
coincidences. People come into our lives at a specific time for a specific reason. And it's time to slow down and to pay attention to that instead of just continuously scrolling and continuously saturating yourself with more information. Start paying attention and pause and go, why did I listen to Linda today? Allow that to go a level deeper. And then what is the aligned action from that? Linda, thank you so much, darling. Thank you for how openly you spoke about, you know, topics that most people don't even want to mention. Thank you for being such a wonderful example of the power of aging and the wisdom gained and how we get better, not only as women, but as business women and then really pay it forward by mentoring other women who are coming up in the ranks. And that again is part of healing the trust between women, right?
Yeah.
We are
Exactly.
there to
Exactly.
mentor those who are younger than us and our peers because we all have our own gifts, we all have our own journey. And I always say, I work with my peers. I don't work with people who think they need me. I don't work with people who are 6 steps behind me. They might not be where I am with regards to self leadership and consciousness because that's my jam, that's my passion.
Right.
But they are already on a really high level of whatever their genius is so that they can get those missing puzzle pieces instead of
Right.
putting people on a pedestal and, oh my God, you're a guru. I don't know. No, no, step the fuck up and come play with us.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Any parting
Exactly.
words from you, or are you complete?
Oh, I feel very complete. Thank you so much for allowing me to have this conversation with you, Elle. It's just, I always enjoy my conversations with you.
Likewise, my friends. All right, have an amazing day, ladies. Wherever you are in the world, we look forward to the next conversation and absolutely connect with Linda. You won't regret it. Have an amazing day further. Cheers.